It's no secret that the cast of Rainbow Reflections is diverse, and this is especially true when it comes to being queer. The world of Rainbow Reflections is mostly bisexual, pansexual, creating a very inclusive environment when it comes to sexuality and romantic orientation, which will be what we focus on in this video. Hyaktu is pretty close-lipped about his sexuality in the first two books, appearing to just be a single father who has no interest in relationships. This is actually due to him shutting out the idea of a relationship after going many years without one, but he had actually been in a relationship with his close friend Jabali when they were teens and young adults. Hyaktu was always attracted to masculine people, whether they had male or intersex bodies, whether they identified as male or non-binary. As long as they were masculine, he'd feel some level of attraction. Yet where Hyaktu grew up, it was one of very few places in the world where being gay was not seen as a necessarily good thing. Hyaktu was bullied for being gay, though he fought hard to change things for the better. While Hyaktu is romantically attracted to masculine people, he's sexually attracted to very few people. Being sex repulsed and not wanting to have a physical relationship made him identify as asexual for a good chunk of his young life. But when he got together with Jabali and was able to stand kissing him for the most part, Hyaktu wondered if he was more on the demisexual side and needing a connection to a person before being intimate with them. Yet there were other times that Hyaktu would be completely fine kissing a stranger, not needing a connection to be intimate. Eventually, he decided to term himself as graysexual, since he fluctuated between the asexual and demisexual scale, but still had his moments of being physical. Graysexuality is a great term for people who are mostly on the ace side, but want wiggle room to identify differently at times. Zin's sexuality is nowhere near as complex as Hyaktu's can be. Growing up, they were even more sex repulsed than their father. They knew they'd never be intimate with anyone beyond a family hug, marking themselves as asexual from the start. Yet they are also aromantic, not wanting to be with anyone in the first place, even if the sexuality of a relationship was removed. We may see Zin question the romantic orientation later on. I'm not quite certain myself yet, but I think it'd be fun to see one of the cast's identity change over time. After all, our sexualities aren't set in stone and should have a chance to be fluid as we grow through our journeys. Ren is like her father and sibling in being on the asexual side. However, she's demisexual, requiring a connection to someone before she's intimate with them. Yet we will see this identity change later on as she terms herself graysexual like her father. After book 3, she starts to feel more on the asexual side and not desire a sexual relationship, or a relationship at all. But she still hopes to find a partner someday, and she hopes that she'll be intimate with them. She therefore chooses to take on the term of graysexual, allowing her room to change while still being clearly on the asexual side. In terms of romantic attraction, Ren does not care what a person's gender is, marking her as pan-romantic. She wants to love a person for who they are and not what they are. Sarala always identified as lesbian, only feeling attraction to girls. With that, she has a strong bias towards who her partner is. She wants her partner to not only identify as a girl, but to have a female body. She wouldn't accept a male-to-female transgender person, nor an intersex person, if that intersex person didn't have a feminine body. She definitely does not mind transgender non-binary people, but she definitely wants a female partner in all aspects. Jabali always identified as gay, only feeling attraction to guys. But he's not as strict as Sarala in what his partner's identity or body should be. While he prefers his partner to have a male body, he doesn't mind if they identify as non-binary, as long as they still look masculine and have a male body. He definitely makes an exception for those he feels a strong connection to, like Hyaktu, as he'd rather be with someone he loves rather than someone whose body he loves. C3 is on the demisexual side, wanting to feel a connection to someone before he gets intimate with them. A part of him also just does not know if he could be intimate with someone, but he doesn't want to term himself as asexual if he doesn't know for certain. He's definitely willing to experiment. He's attracted to people identifying as male and non-binary, terming himself as biromantic. He doesn't care what the person's body might be, but he prefers someone more masculine, in between, or just genderqueer in general. He's not keen on the idea of being with a feminine person merely for the fact that his 3 parents are all on the more feminine side, and he feels more attraction to masculine or non-binary people instead. However, he'd be totally fine with a girl for a partner if he felt a connection to one. He'd just prefer male or non-binary. Mint is pan-romantic, being attracted to people no matter their gender. They don't want to have a bias of gender when it comes to finding a romantic partner, as they are gender fluid themselves and wouldn't want someone to hold that bias against them. While she'd be willing to get in a partnership with anyone no matter their body or gender, she is uneasy at the idea of an intimate relationship and terms herself as asexual. KO Cat is asexual and aromantic, having no time for such nonsense, as they put it. Whether they actually feel attraction or just choose not to is anyone's guess. Khurshid is asexual and aromantic, both by choice and by lack of attraction to others. As he prefers a nomadic lifestyle and definitely prefers to travel alone, he finds the idea of a partner would hold him back from exploring. Yet he also doesn't feel attraction to others. It's always just been part of his nature. Even once he settled it at the academy, he still had no interest in pursuing love. Fern is pan-romantic and demisexual, her identity much like Ren's. As a spirit, she doesn't have too much grasp of gender and does not care what her partner's gender or sex might be. But she's also very picky on who her partner is and needs a strong connection to that person before even holding their hand. Aster feels attraction to all genders, but he's mostly attracted to female people, therefore terming himself as bisexual instead of pansexual, since he has such a strong preference, but doesn't mind pairing up with others. He is hoping to end up with Fern, but we'll see about that. Lirio is pansexual, finding attraction to anyone no matter their gender or sex. She likes people for who they are and not what they look like or what their bodies might be. She's always comparing her pansexuality to a panoramic picture, taking in as much as it can. Mimita is aromantic and bisexual. She has zero interest in a romantic relationship or maintaining one, but doesn't mind hooking up with people for a night or two. She has a preference for male and female bodies as opposed to intersex or trans bodies when it comes to hooking up with someone, but she'll take whatever she can. It's not too often that she'll hook up with others, just whenever she's in the mood to be intimate. Wave is bisexual, finding attraction to male and female people, though not often non-binary or intersex people. He wouldn't mind partnering with anyone like that, and mostly just has a preference due to growing up in an area where male and female are the main genders, and non-binary people aren't often seen. The Rainbow Wizard is pansexual, not having a care for the gender or sex of a person he'd be partnering. Master Hanmu thought he was only attracted to females for a good chunk of his life, as that was the way of his homeland. Yet he stuck up for Hyaktu when Hyaktu was discovered to be gay, and he helped Hyaktu make their home a better place for the future. When Hyaktu left, Hanmu went on to become a master, where he'd be able to make more changes for the better. It was around this time that he realized he was very passionate about the LGBT cause, and he started to question his sexuality. He soon termed himself as bisexual, finding attraction to males as well. Sexuality and romantic orientation can definitely be confusing to figure out, as seen with some of the Rainbow Reflections cast. Sometimes it can change, and that's fine too. Learn more about everyone's gender identities in the next part.